This video is the first in a series about web design and web development. The goal is to show you useful information in order for you to be successful in building websites. But before we get started with what you need, let's start with what you don't need. If you want to get a job as a web developer or web designer, it's possible without a degree or even certification. At least I didn't have that when I got started, and this area is loaded with regulations. As comparison, look at the requirements to be a licensed electrician in New York City. 7.5 years experience. That's huge. After seeing those kinds of numbers, I realized that's not for me. Now, of course you can say, but Mike, we need those requirements. If an electrician does a bad job, people could die. That's true. I suppose the same argument could be made for being a drone pilot. To fly commercially, in the United States, you need a remote pilot certificate from the FAA. You don't want people dropping drones on the heads of random pedestrians. But even with a certificate from the FAA, New York City is not very friendly towards drone pilots. Ever look at what it takes to run a hot dog cart in New York City? Woof! The point is that a lot of cool jobs have a high barrier to entry. But if you want to make a website, there's not much stopping you. I don't know how long that party is going to last, so enjoy it while it does. There are some standards, rules, and regulations to be aware of, like HTTPS, accessibility, the GDPR, spawning all those cookie warnings. But it's not too bad. These are great topics for future videos, but in general, the complexity or popularity of your website doesn't matter. You probably can build it. So, what do you need? For starters, you'll need a web browser. The downside is that you'll need many web browsers. Testing across multiple platforms is a common task for web designers and developers. The good news is that the popular ones are free to download. You'll also need a text editor. Not any text editor will do. You'll want something with syntax highlighting. That's basically automatic colorizing of your code, which can make it easier to read. One of the more frustrating aspects of the web is how a single missing character can seriously ruin your day. Forget a quote, an equal sign, or some other squiggly thing, and your website could be completely broken. That's why I recommend Visual Studio Code. It has syntax highlighting and lots of other awesome features. It is from Microsoft. Now, I'm a guy who's been using Macs for decades, so if a guy like me says it's good, it's good. It's also free. So let's run through a quick Hello World tutorial. Starting from a new file, the first thing to do is specify the language. There are two ways to do this. The first way is to simply save the file with a recognized extension. In this case, it's .html. It also needs a name, so let's call this one hi.html. So friendly. Right away you can see that the status bar recognizes HTML as the language. This is another way to change the language. Just click the language word to bring up a list of options. Setting the language is important, as that unlocks the advanced features like syntax highlighting and code completion. Here's a fantastic example. From the first line, and the lines are conveniently numbered by the way, simply enter an exclamation point, and then press enter. Boom! You've just made an HTML document. Here, I'll zoom in so you can get a closer look. The bulk of working with HTML is opening a tag and then closing that tag. See the title tag? That's information that appears in the web browser, usually in the tab bar. We can call this one Hello World Example. This is the head section of the HTML document, so it's more general settings related to your document. To actually get something to display on the page, that goes in the body tag. Let's just add a headline, which is an H1 tag, and then say Hello World. Did you see all that crazy stuff going on? That's Visual Studio Code assisting you. Not only is the code decorated with color, it's formatted with indents for easier readability. It's tempting to use a more graphical application to write the code for you, but this more hands-on method is how you can truly learn web development. That's all there is to the Hello World tutorial. You can just open the page in your web browser to see your work. Remember to save your document first. For simplicity, I usually leave the autosave setting on. From there, it's just a matter of adding more content, such as a new paragraph, which is a p tag. Hit reload in the web browser to see the changes. See, isn't that nice? This is the most absolute basic lesson. We're starting easy. This can get real complicated real quick. So feedback is important. What do you want to learn? You can leave a comment to help steer the direction of this channel. But in summary, if you want to build websites, what you need most is knowledge. And that's what this channel is about.